Good afternoon, welcome to Craft and Chat. I'm Amanda Fowler. This is the Inspiring Inkin Facebook page. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Today is Tuesday, the 6th of July. If you're here, can you let me know? Let's do a really British, what's the weather doing with you? Start to the day. I've got my cardigan on, I've got my socks on. It's chilly here. And rainy, very rainy. So yeah, not great British weather here. So how are we doing? Let's just have a look. Looks like I am live in the right place. I'll check on my iPad as well. So it looks like, yeah, I'm here live. So Michelle's here, Mum's here. Hi, Mum. Margaret's here, Michelle's here, Jen's here. A blustery Suffolk, says Anne. Waves are high. Donna says good evening. She's in Oz. Fantastic. So what have we all been up to this week? Good afternoon, Gillian. Yeah, rather windy Hampshire. I bet I bet it's blowing a gale up on the hill, Sue, where you are. Chris and Angela are here. Hello to you both. And hello, Maureen and Belinda. Hello, hello, hello. So let me know what you've been up to this weekend. If you read my blog post yesterday, you will know I've been visiting my mum and dad, and my mum's here actually, live today. And yeah, we've had a lovely time. It's never long enough, is it? You know, you go visit and it's never long enough. But we were really busy. We had lots of things to do. We had walks down the beach and lovely food and chats and laughter and tears and everything. So it was a really good trip. I just need to go back again pretty soon, really. Because as you know, obviously with COVID and waiting for vaccines and all of that, it's been a year, so it's been a long time. Right, just one moment. I've got all sorts of weird messages popping up on my screen there. Okay. Yes. Right. I don't know what was happening then. My iPad all went a bit crackers. I'm hoping you can see and hear me clearly. We better do that kind of a check. So let's see. I'm going to bring my iPad a bit closer. It's chilly in Oxford, says Margaret. As I said the word rain, Chris is saying it started raining in East Newbury. That's mean. That's not good. Hi, Karen. Deborah's here. Marlene and Rachel. Yeah, so Sue and Donna and Margaret, you're all saying I'm loud and clear. Hurrah for that. Hurrah for that. Okay, so what else has been happening in my world? Not very much, because I haven't been here. I've been 250 miles away. So yeah, we had a pretty rubbish journey on the way up, but much smoother on the way back. But again, it's the weather, isn't it? Where the weather can make a journey really tricky, but there you go. Until somebody invents a teleport machine, I'll have to drive. Although I did say to Brian, you know, how much would it cost for somebody to, you know, use a helicopter and take us? I don't know why I thought of a helicopter, but you know, yeah. Apparently that's not in the budget. Thousands just to go from Hampshire to Lincolnshire. So it's not going to happen. Marlene saying it's tropical rain up in the north. Lynn's here as well, and Anita's here, and Rosie's here. Hello, hello, hello. Good. Right, we've got some water. Although I should have had tea, but I didn't get to the kettle and needed to be here, so I've got water instead, and that's fine. So long as I don't end up with a frog in my throat. Oh, speaking of frogs in the throat, how many of you are doing lateral flow tests with COVID tests? Because I know a lot of you will be for work and various other things. Obviously, we did them before we visited my mum and dad, and then I did one again today, just to make sure that, you know, in between times I've not got any bugs. And oh, I need to find a way of being able to do it without feeling horrible. I don't know. It's just rubbish. Rubbish. But needs must, because testing is important, so that's good. Donna says I need to win the lottery. Yeah, well, that would involve me actually buying a lottery ticket. There's no chance of me winning the lottery because I haven't bought a ticket. Sue, no new car yet. So we are still in the discussion stages. I'm fairly sure what I want, but I need to go and do a few test drives first, just to make sure it's comfy. Because these days I like to be comfy in my car. Oh, Judith, I was wondering if you've been out and about, gadding about in your van. I hope you've been having a lovely time. Yeah, so Chris is doing the lateral flow testing as well. Yeah, have you found a way of not going, because it's just, yeah, not pleasant. Not pleasant. Right, we'll move on to something else. Sounds like restrictions are being lifted in a couple of weeks. That was the announcements yesterday. I know there are more announcements today, but obviously we've got to wait another week for like the confirmation of what's going to happen, and then a week after that for it to actually happen. So my plan for restarting face-to-face events is still in progress. So I certainly won't be doing anything till September anyway. So I will be including in the new catalogues that are coming out, I'll be including all the information about the classes and everything else. So online, everything that I'm doing online, plus more. I am a little bit excited, but I'm not going to tell you yet because I haven't finished planning yet. But everything that we're doing at the moment, plus a bit more, is happening online. And then there will be in person as well. But different. So you just have to wait and see. That's all I'm going to say. So let's have a look. Judith is saying yes, she's had a lovely time. Laura, is that you do it you're doing it every day? Oh, goodness me. Yeah, Lynn's saying that she doesn't like it either. Yeah, that's, yeah, rubbish. It's rubbish. But it's awesome that we've got testing. That's what I say. So today, let's get straight into the crafting bit. So today, we're going to be talking about the Stamparatus. Now, the Stamparatus is a tool that's been in the catalogue for a couple of years, 3 years. Don't know, actually, a while. And it's a stamp positioning tool. You can use it with red rubber stamps or photopolymer stamps. It makes stamping much easier. So if you struggle with grip or struggle with smudged images, the Stamparatus can really help. It's also fantastic for making bulk things. So, for instance, Christmas cards or wedding invitations or whatever, because you can set the stamps up and you can just stamp all the stamps all at once. It's amazing for bulk stamping. I love to do different techniques with it, and I'm just, oh yeah, I was just checking that I've got everything because I couldn't see something that's really important for today. So I love using it for techniques. I'm going to show you 2 techniques today. I'm going to just run through the Stamparatus because many of you may not have seen it. So I'm going to just run through what it is and some hints and tips about that. And then what I will do is on my blog post tomorrow, when I put the replay up, I'll put all the links to some of my other videos that I've done. So there's lots and lots and lots of different techniques that you can do. Yeah, so Laura's having to test because she's working with working in a school, so she's got to do lots of tests. Darn. Okay, so what I'm going to do first then is I'm going to turn the camera around and I'll show you the information in the catalogue first, and then we'll get to the stamping. So let me just cover you over. Flip you around. Probably have to move that out and see what we're doing. Okay, so in the catalogue it's on page 144, and there's the machine, which is, or the tool, which is £46. You can get replacement magnets and grid paper and a deluxe foam mat. So let me show you what that actually is, and you're going to get lots of reflection. This is the worst thing about the Stamparatus. So this is the Stamparatus base, and it has 2 sets of hinges. Hi Hazel, hi Christine, hi Nicola. So you've got 2 sets of hinges, so you have 2 plates. These are acrylic plates. They've got grid lines on them, which is fantastic. And they slot in to the hinges, and then you use them to do your stamping. Now you'll see later that this is great because we can move these hinges along. In order to get these plates in and out, they have to be straight up and down. They have to be completely vertical to lift them out. Once they're horizontal, you can't get them out. Okay, so there's one plate that goes that way, and then there is a second plate, which I'm not going to be able to get in, but a second plate that goes that way. Okay, it comes with a foam mat, but I'm going to make a recommendation about the foam mat momentarily. And then on the back are 2 magnets. Now these are earth magnets, neodymium magnets, and they are really strong magnets, but they are really fragile. I've put a bit of duct tape on them, so I've got a really strong handle to pick them up. It's really important that you don't get the 2 magnets close together, and you don't leave them on the table, because even at like 12 inches apart, the magnet on them is so strong it will smash into them. They'll smash together and then they'll break. Okay, and the reason that I know this is because I did it. Right, just bear with me a second because, yeah, because something went weird on my iPad, I was watching this delayed. So, yeah, it was all a bit strange. Anyway, I'm caught up now. So Janice is here, Pat's here, Gordie's here from North Carolina, and Judith is going to get her Stamparatus out now so she remembers how to use it. Okay, so just be careful with these. Even if they're broken, you can still use them, but a replacement set is £11. So try not to break them. I smashed my first set. I don't want you to do the same. So they live underneath. Now, when you store this is really important. Don't put both plates in and then try and store it like this, because you're going to break the plates or break the hinges. So you can leave one of them in its hinges, but then I just put the other one on the top. Okay, and store it away. So that's the basic machine. That's what comes. This is called a deluxe foam mat. Foam on the back, and it's got a grid on it. Now, I recommend that everybody gets one of these, basically because it's a tiny bit thicker than the original mat that comes with the Stamparatus. With photopolymer stamps particularly, that's not even a proper word, but anyway, the thickness of photopolymer stamps does change. Different manufacturers and yeah, different pouring of the photopolymer stamps. So for me, having this deluxe foam mat, because it's a bit thicker, means that there's a little bit more pressure when you're stamping, and I find that this works much better. Okay, so getting that is a really good thing. And then the other thing is the small grid paper. Now, you've seen me use the small grid paper. That's my current one. All the time. This is what I use when I'm filming and stuff, because it's just easier not to have a big piece of grid paper when I'm filming, so I can keep it in shot. But this just fits perfectly over the top of your foam mat in your Stamparatus, and it's just the perfect size. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about the machine itself? Oh dear, Laura said she broke her magnets the first time as well. Yeah, it's very easy to do. So the techniques that I'm using today only use one plate. You would use 2 plates if you're doing multiple stamping, because you can set some images on this side and some images on this side, and then you can just ink it up, put it down, bring it back, and do the same with the other side. So it just works really really beautifully. Now, I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, so I'm going to put my Stamparatus, my deluxe mat in, and this one. When you are putting your stamps and you're inking up, can you see that this is kind of on an angle? So this plate is on an angle. So if I tilt it, you'll be, will you be able to see? Yeah, I think you will. So it's higher here, obviously, than it is here, and it's on an angle. So one thing to do is to put a stamp case underneath. That gives you a flatter surface for cleaning and for inking, and also puts less pressure on your plate. So that is a really good thing to do. and I am just going to run to the sink and put my Simply Chamois under the tap, because this is not going to clean anything. So if you've never seen a Simply Chamois when it's dried out, this is what it looks like. It's like cardboard. It's really hard. I always leave mine to dry out when I finish stamping. I just wash it and then just leave it to dry. So let me just go and run that under the tap. I'll try and shout from the bathroom. So just take a second for the water to absorb. Okay, so this is how it is now. Look, it's all floppy. It's a little bit damp because I've squashed most of the water out, but it's easy to clean. And the chamois, then I can just dab over the images when I'm cleaning. Okay, so let's start with Amanda's favourite stamp set. Well, one of Amanda's favourite stamp sets. Not the only one. There are too many to mention. And more importantly, the new one's coming, way too many to mention. Gonna blow your socks off. Okay, so the colours that I have today are Polished Pink and Fresh Freesia for this card. Don't worry, there's blue on the next card, just in case you thought that I might be having a moment. It's fine. So this layer, let me see. So I've got Fresh Freesia card blank and a matte layer, which is Polished Pink. I've done some die cutting using the Pierced Blooms dies, and I don't know whether I'm going to put these flowers on or not. I haven't decided yet. I might go for really clean and simple, or I might put pretty things on. I will decide when we get to that point. So this technique is called hinge stamping. And basically what it does is it uses these different spaced slots so that we can move a stamp like this down along a card. Now, this technique works best with stamps like this one that are about 1 inch tall. It will work with smaller stamps. You'll end up with a bigger gap. This one, because it's pretty much 1 inch tall, you will find that the top and bottom kind of touch. It's really, really cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to position this on the paper, on the cardstock, where we want it to go, in the middle. And then we're going to take the plate, press the plate down and lift it up. Now you'll see that it's going to take the cardstock with it. That's because I haven't put a magnet on. Okay, that's why I did it, to show you. That's why you need to put your magnets on. So the magnet will just hold it in place. Okay. So I'm going to just flip that over because that's probably a bit distracting. Okay, so I'm going to go with the darker colour, with the Polished Pink first. And I'm going to ink up the stamp. Ooh. And then I'm going to press it down. Now, the fantastic thing about this is because the stamp is exactly where it should be, it's in the same place each time. Okay, we'll talk about this in a second. Because it's in the same place each time, if it misses a spot, you can re-ink it. But we've got a different kind of issue here. If you look at the B and the R, that ink pad is too juicy. And when I inked it, there were kind of bubbles on the stamp. So basically, there's too much ink on this. And it's because I re-inked it yesterday. No, before I went away. So what I'm going to do, I don't want you to be shocked, but I will show you what I'm doing. What I'm going to do is take some of the ink off. So I've just put that cardstock on the top of the ink pad and I've lifted some of the ink off. Basically, I just got a bit too enthusiastic with my inking, with my re-inking. And I have to say, you would think after all these years I would learn, but the reality is I almost always over ink my ink pads. It's enthusiasm. That's what it is, enthusiasm. Okay, so let's start that again, shall we? So, Belinda also broke her first set of magnets. Yeah. That's why on my YouTube channel, there is a video that says what you need to know about your Stamparatus before you open your box. Right, so there we go. So let's try this again. Give it a good old press. Look, that's so much better, isn't it? Okay. So I'm going to clean this again because I'm going to do alternate colours. And I'm going to lift my plate up. Remember, you've got to put it vertically. Lift my plate up and move the edge down one hole. So you'll see now it's offset. And now I'm going to use fresh freesia. Now, here's a really cool thing. Can you see I've got ink here? When I stamp this down, that ink isn't going to transfer anywhere because the plate is high up. It's really cool. So I'm going to press that down, lift it up. Ta-da-da! Isn't that cool? Okay. So let's just lift it up again, move it down. Ink it up. And off we go again. Oh, lots more people joining. Nicola's here. Claire's here. Claire, are you released now? Ali's here. Mary. Fantastic. Do we think that this is a fun technique? Got to try and remember which colour to do next. Ta-da-da. Okay, and then for this last stamp, this magnet's going to be in the way a little bit, so I just move it up to the top. Lift it up, pop it down. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Linda. Hi, Anita. Margaret's saying this is really effective. Linda's loving this idea. Good. I am pleased that you like it. Right. Give it another press. Da-da-da. There we go. Right. I am just going to re-ink this just for that last little bit. There we go. So, can you imagine trying to do that with with a block? Janet's saying sorry she's late. She got carried away with the tennis. Oh no, who's winning? I haven't watched any tennis since Andy Murray went out. Pat saying, oh no, something else she needs. Yeah, it is cool. Okay, so I'm just taking that one off. Now I need to get the happy. That way. So that is going to go there. So again, you just position the stamp where you want it to go and you just fold the plate over, press it down, and it will lift it up. Now it is really important. So here's Amanda's other top tip. Make sure your stamps are clean. Because obviously if you put a dirty stamp on there, it's going to mark your card. Rosie says she needs that stamp set. Yes, you do. Everyone needs that stamp set. What I said when it launched was that everyone has to buy it and keep buying things for their friends as well so that it stays in the catalogue, because I'm just going to be heartbroken when it goes. Oh, look, see? I've missed a spot. Can you see that? Shall I bring it up? The Y is missing its tail. So all you do is ink it again and give it a good old press down. And it will go over exactly the same spot. And look at that. Look at that ink that you've got there that hasn't transferred anywhere. It's just too cool. I love my Stamparatus. And when I'm, like I said, for bulk cards, for me, it's brilliant. But I just love it that when I've made a really lovely stamp set, when I've made this lovely stamp, that's nonsense. When I make a really lovely card and I'm putting a sentiment on it, I don't want it to be in the wrong place or messed up. I get my Stamparatus out. So, Jenny's asking for the stamp set. It is called Biggest Wish. And Belinda is absolutely correct. This stamp set and Peaceful Moments are the two must-have sentiment sets because they are just so cool. But this is just so lovely. Such a lovely set. Okay, so I'm just going to put my magnet away. Just get into the habit of putting it away. Okay? Because if you leave it on the table, this is where they smash. You leave it on the table and then you'll get the other one out and it'll all go horribly wrong. I'm not normally a doom and gloom girl, am I? But broken magnets just makes everyone sad. Right, well, you know I did all of these flowers. I don't think I'm going to use them. I think this card is just going to stay exactly as it is. Because I don't think it needs them. I don't know what you think. I mean, I could. But I don't know. I just think it detracts. I love my flowers. But I just think that is just such a cool card. And okay, I've done it in traditionally girl birthday cards. But this is a great man's card. Obviously, probably different colours. Maybe not. I have some friends who adore wearing pink and purple. But yeah, I don't think it needs it. Yeah, you're all going, no. Yes, thank you. Keep it simple, says Deborah. Judith's saying doesn't need the flowers. Marlene's saying nope. Linda's saying less is best. Good. Really cool. Really cool. Obviously, if you're over stamping like I have done with the happy, just make sure you've got the lighter colour underneath, as otherwise it won't show up. Okay, so that's one card. Now, the next card that I want to show you is a technique called mirror technique. And I've had a bit of a moment because I decided I was going to teach you this. And it uses this silicone mat. And this silicone mat has been in our catalogue for forever. But it currently isn't. And I was so aghast that it wasn't in the catalogue. And I'm not entirely sure what to suggest to use instead. So I know some die cutting machines have silicone mats or rubber mats. You could use acetate. You could use acetate instead. The benefit of this silicone mat is it's a bit thicker. So if you are going to do this with a sheet of acetate instead, then put a little bit of extra cardstock underneath. Okay, so the stamp sets that I'm using, I'm actually using 3 stamp sets on one card. Not normal for me, but I'm using the bird image and I wanted this sentiment. It's called Love and Laughter Forever After. I just think it's just a really nice kind of wedding-y kind of sentiment. This has got great leaves in it. So yeah, so I'm going to use that sentiment. I'm going to use this bird. And then I realised I hadn't talked to you about this stamp set and I want the little heart. That's why I picked this. I wanted the little heart. But this is a really lovely set. If you want to make calendars or you want to do a countdown, perhaps towards a wedding or show different dates or different things. But it's got the stamps. So this bit is huge. And you can obviously sort out which way round you put your numbers because you've got the days of the week and so on. So you can move things around. It's just, honestly, it's really cool. But I just need the little heart. So, yes, Pat. Pat saying she loved the card, didn't need the flowers, but with this machine, she wouldn't get any more wonky images. Exactly. And that's why, let me get this bit in, see if you can see. Although I am a little bit embarrassed. This is a bit grubby. I need to go and put this in the sink when I'm finished. See, it's loved. It's covered in glue and stuff, but it's got these grid lines on it. I don't know. Let me put this blue card behind, see if you can see. Can you see the grid lines? Has that made it worse or better? Ah, look, okay. Darker is better. I don't know. Can you see those grid lines? But they're etched in. And that means that you can line the stamps up. And if things aren't quite straight, you can just adjust it. So that's really cool. Right, so I've got my heart stamp out. I've got my bird. And I've got my love forever after. Okay. So how many of you have got the silicone mat? That's kind of the next important thing, because then you'll be able to do this technique. So the bird image that I have got, that I'm using, is red rubber. So you don't need the foam mat or the deluxe foam mat, because there's foam there already. So you don't need it. Okay. So I'm just going to plop that there for now. And what we're going to do is get some cardstock and have a little practice. So this card, I'm looking for my mat layer. Where's that gone? Oh, it's there. Right, so I'm doing a standard mat and layer for this. So it's actually going on balmy blue. I need to cut that down though. It's going like this. Okay. So this is the size of my mat layer. And because we're going to have a mirror image, we're going to have the two birds with their beaks close together. I'm going to fold this piece in half, and I found that this is the easiest way to do it, to get it lined up. So I've got my piece of card and my mat. Ooh. Oh, lots of people have it. Sue doesn't. Sue, maybe you know somebody who might have a spare. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the bird as close to that kind of score line as I can. But I want to make sure that I've got space for my sentiment at the bottom and space for my little heart at the top. So I'll just give that a little jiggle about. Okay. So I've left that there. So I'm going to pick it up and then I'm going to ink it up. Now I'm using Memento because I'm using blends to colour it in. Now, I realised I hadn't put my stamp set underneath. So let's just ink this birdie up and put it down. Now, potentially it might not be in the right place. But I've just been lucky today, because you can see, look, there's the score line and it's almost at the edge of the score line, and I'm happy with that because the birds don't actually have to touch, but I just want them facing one another. Okay, so this technique works best with a line art stamp. So this is a line art stamp. Okay, so you've got an outline and maybe a little bit of detail, but mainly a line stamp. It won't work, or it wouldn't work very well with like these leaves where there's lots of detail and it's all filled in and so on. So you want something open like this. Okay, so I'm going to pop in another piece of card the same size as this one. Okay. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get the piece of card out. I'm going to put the silica mat in. Honestly, had a brain, it'd be dangerous. Right, silica mat. Ink this up. So this will work with your Memento ink. It will also work with your normal Stampin' Up! Ink pads. But it won't work with Stays On, okay? Because Stays On dries too quickly and will stay on the silicone. So you are going to stamp your little birdie there. And you can also always stamp it twice if you want to, just to make sure there's plenty of ink on it. Then you get your piece of cardstock, pop it down, put your silicone mat on, and then you're just going to stamp again with the stamp. You don't need to put any ink on it because this is actually going to be the back. And all we're doing is we're pressing. And what happens is the image is transferred from here to here. So when, this is magic happening. So when I ink that up again and I stamp it, look, got little birdies together. Aren't they cute? So Sue's saying that the zebras would look really good. They would. Lots of people had forgotten about this technique. And this is the thing about crafting together, isn't it? Because all of a sudden you go, oh, yeah, I remember how to do that. We did that. And then it sets you off on all sorts of different thoughts. So let's see. So that's love and laughter forever after. I just think that's such a lovely sentiment, wedding sentiment. Ooh, Belinda's saying the donkeys as well. Brilliant. Lots of people saying brilliant. That just makes me so happy. I'm so pleased that you like it. So the original video that I did of this was using some little piggies, which sadly we don't have anymore in the catalogue, but it is yeah, lots of different creatures would work really, really well. So I'm just going to put my little heart there and lift that up. But what I am going to have to do is put the mat in, because this is obviously a photopolymer stamp. So I just need to put that in there. And I'm going to use a fresh freesia. Let's give it a little heart there. Okay. So remember, put your magnet away. Take your stamp off and put it away. So this is the problem with photopolymer stamps. In the old days, when we only had rubber stamps, you couldn't lose them because they were huge. And you could see them. They were just really you know, it's difficult to lose that because you can see it. But photopolymer, until they're nice and pink and stained, you can lose them. Right, let's put that one away as well. Ta-da-da. Okay, so now all I've got to do is a little bit of colouring. Oh no. Can you see that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to colour it in, and I will redo it. So I am just going to make these little birdies nice and blue. Yes, so Sue was saying it was even harder to lose your stamps when they were on wooden blocks. I know. Don't get me started. I miss my wooden blocks. I really do. It's funny, isn't it? I appreciate that we have advanced, but I did love my wooden blocks. I was very sad to see them go. So I'm just using, so these two pens are both balmy blue, and I've coloured in most of the image using the light, and then I'm going over the shading in the dark and on the wings, and then I'll blend it through again in a second. Now, I don't know whether you can see on camera. I don't think you can actually, but I dropped this on the ink pad and I can actually see it through. So I will, when I've finished, I will restamp this, because when I take the photo for my blog, I think it will show through. There we go. So we've got a little bit of lightness there through his tummy. And just grab my trimmer and just make that card blank. And then that card will be done. So just cover that over. Shut that ink pad again, because we all know what happens when Amanda doesn't shut the ink pad. There is always a mess. So Pat's saying this is wizardry. Chris loves the technique, and it will make so much more use out of the bird and animal stamps. Absolutely. Gordy's loving my choice of stamps for a wedding or an anniversary card. Yep, that was my master plan. You're right. Deborah's saying it might not show if I mount it on Fresh Freesia card. It might not, and actually I'm going to be mounting it on black, so we'll see. We'll see if it shows through or it doesn't. So it's actually going on black to pick out the outline. What did I do with my Tombow? Got a new Tombow upstairs here in my studio. Very exciting. You get excited with new glues. You don't have to squeeze it quite so hard. There we go. And then that one too. There we go. So you've got mirror image. Oh, let me just move my water out of the way. And the hinge technique. Oh, Karen, is it really? Karen! Oh my word. Honestly, I was going through the catalogue earlier and couldn't find it. Yes! Karen gets the Star of the Day award. The silicone craft sheet is on page 167. It's number 8. It's £5.50. So if you don't have one, you know that you need to get one. And if you haven't got a Stamparatus, you definitely need one of those too. Oh, yes. Thank you, Karen. That's really made my day. I was really worried because I just thought, oh no, because this is such a great technique. It's so straightforward. You just have to remember that when you're stamping it, you're actually stamping on the back of the sheet, and that's all. Fantastic. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Hello, Mary. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, so I think that is everything from me today. I do need to think about, now I'll tell you next week, because we've got a catalogue launch again in August. I'm thinking, ooh, yeah, so the catalogue, the next catalogue, so it's I'm just let's pick my words and take a breath. The next mini catalogue launches on the 3rd of August. That's a Tuesday. And also Celebration Take 2 is also launching on the 3rd of August. So you will be able to earn free products for a £45 spend, like we did in January and February, those of you that were with me then. So I will be doing a launch, as I have done for all of the other catalogue launches. So that week, so the 3rd, 4th and 5th of August, I will be live at 2 o'clock every day. So that'll be 3 lives. The catalogues, like I said, the catalogues are actually in the building now, but it takes a week or so, 10 days, for Brian and I to label them all, for me to write the letter, sort out all the class information and everything, and then get it parceled up and sent to you. But it will be with you in plenty of time for you to make your wish lists before we go live on the 3rd of August. And I am going to say penguins and a penguin punch. So those of you that love cute, there is cute. Those of you that love traditional images, religious images, and natural images like cottages or stars or snowflakes, all of those are in there too. It's just a stunning autumn winter catalogue. I'm so excited about the things that I can share with you. It's just going to be amazing. So yeah, so lots of exciting things to come. So let me just have a look at the messages. Thank you, Jen. She's saying she had a lovely afternoon and she loves the cards, as does Margaret as well. Deborah, thank you. It's been a great lesson. Refresher course, says Sue. Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle and Stephanie. Ooh, Chris and Angela won't be here next week because they're going to an introduction to encaustic art. And if you don't know what encaustic art is, it's wax and they melt it on irons and do amazing things. It's really lovely, lovely stuff. Would alcohol be safe for the Stamparatus plate, says Sharon? I think so. I don't tend to use anything other than a microfiber cloth and a bit of fairy liquid. I think Sharon, you know, just like washing up liquid. That's all I tend to use on anything plastic, and it comes off. Donna, yes, the mirror image should work with the Stampamajig sheet. Yes, so that's a really good sheet, and that's how we used to do it before we had Stamparatus. But make sure when you're using that, you use the smooth side, not the bumpy side. Belinda's a demonstrator. Her pre-orders arrived, and the new catalogue and celebration are fab. Lots of lovely things. So that is good. Brilliant. Okay, so I will love you and leave you for this week. I will be back next week. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing next week, but I don't know. So if you've got any thoughts, put them in the comments, and we'll look at them. I've probably got a list. I have got a list. I don't know why I'm saying I've probably got a list. I have got a list, but I haven't picked what I'm going to do next week, is what I'm trying to say. My words are not doing very well today. Thank you so much for joining me today. All of the products that you have seen today are available in my online store. Pop over to www.inspiringinkin.com and you can click the Shop Now button, and that will take you directly to the online store. If you're watching on Facebook, my blog, or on YouTube, there will be a series of clickable links in the description. And you can click those straight and go straight through to the online store as well. As we have discovered, thanks to Karen's detective work, the silicone mat still exists, which I'm so excited about. So don't forget to pop one of those on your order if you don't have one already. So take care, and I will see you all again next week. Goodbye.